Hi, my name is Matt Stewart. I'm with Yatu Paint here in the eastern United States. I've been receiving some questions on whether or not our sealers would adhere to an unsanded E-coated part. So we're going to do a little test together that I started already. I'll bring you up to speed as what we had done, and we'll go through it together to check adhesion. So starting with the panel. This panel is a brand new manufactured Ford Motor Company part. It is E-coated and unsanded. All we did when we sprayed this sealer on the panel was to clean it with our degreaser. Part number 3910. Wiped it off with a towel, that's it. Then I had mixed our 6234 sealer with the medium hardener for that product and reduced it with P1 standard reducer. The mix ratio we used for this application is 4 to 1 to 1. Now I don't know that you're going to be able to see this, but the transition where I spot sealed it is actually very smooth. It's a very, very nice finish. Now I know you can't see it on the camera, but I can feel it. Very nice, slick edge. Not a heavy line on the edge where I spot sealed. And I wasn't trying to keep it nice and pretty. Okay, so what we're going to use to take this test is we're going to use a couple things. First, we're going to start out by scoring the panel with a razor blade in a crosshatch fashion. Then we're going to take and apply duct tape to the surface and suddenly jerk it off to check the shear strength of whether the coating will fail or succeed. After we pass that test, we're going to wet sand a feather edge spot through the sealer back down to the original E-coat with 1000 grit wet paper. And we're going to be looking for the way that the sealer breaks away from the undercoat or the E-coat. If we get a nice smooth edge or if it starts to fail, we'll see it between these two tests. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. So I'm going to start out with the razor blade crosshatch test. I'm going to score all the way through the film, pressing kind of firmly. And make a series of cuts deep into the E-coat. These cuts are about 1/8 of an inch apart. Next, we're going to apply that tape very firmly down on the film. We're going to jerk it off. If you can look at see it that very closely, there is absolutely no failure. Nothing let loose. You could see where we pulled the film out of the score marks. You could see shiny steel now, but you can't see any breakage. Nothing let loose at all. That's 100% adhesion. Next, we're going to go ahead and take some wet paper, and I'm going to sand that down. And then we're going to go ahead and wipe this off. Stick a little heat gun. if you could take a look closely, the edge did not tear away. Normally, if you're going to go from a shiny surface and seal or prime or paint on top of it and you wet sand that edge away, you would see the evidence of a shiny spot at that feather edge line. But we don't. You see, when they apply E-coat, because of the way they do it with electricity, the part is submerged in a tank of chemicals. It's then applied electric to the panels. That in a split second will cure that E-coat on that film, on that surface. When it does that, it leaves micro porosity inside the panel. Those look like kind of like an upside down trumpet. Those trumpets, the big side would be on the base or inside the film. The very top at the surface is like a pinhole. These pinholes are microscopic. You can't see them with the eye, but they're there. This sealer is actually made to penetrate into the pores, grab a hold and open up inside those trumpets and create adhesion. So we have zero failure. So on the underside of a hood, on a new fender, on a new door, when you're cutting parts in and you have to apply color, you don't have to spend quite so much time scuffing and abrading the surface to apply sealer. So anytime you apply that 2K sealer from Yacht 2 Paint, you have perfect adhesion. I appreciate your time. I hope this was a help to you. Thank you.